Hello everyone, welcome back to IT Genius Cyber again in another tutorial, and I'll advise all those who have not subscribed yet to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and for those who have subscribed already, please try to hit the bell icon so that you get all the new notifications or the new uploads, the new videos or tutorials that are instantly uploaded on our channel, and for you to stay tuned and to stay on the right track. All right, so all those who don't know how to stream YouTube in a very advanced format, only go to your log into your YouTube, go to the IT Genius Cyber, or any video. It might not be IT Genius Cyber channel, mainly any video. So go there, then try to go to settings of your YouTube, then choose the video format you want to view, mainly according to your device you're using, or your phone or your PC or your iPhone, any. So let us try to go to the main point. Today we are going to learn about C programming, and let me try to open my notepad so that we can all view clearly. We're going to learn C programming mainly. So what do you understand by C programming language mainly? Because before you go in for the software that is going to help you write the code, before you go in for any application that is going to be provided either on your Android, your iOS device, Apple device, or PC, any operating system it will take for you to have that application to write code in C language. So before you go to that, mainly you need to understand what you're really coding or what you're really programming, the language you're using to program whatever you're programming, or whether you're making a software, an application, anything of your choice. You need to know what exactly is the basic or the basics of the language you're coding in. So what is C? C is mainly a general purpose programming language, and it's really used by a wide range of applications, from operating systems like Windows and iOS, softwares that is used to create 3D movies, and many programs have been really written from C. And most programmers really like C because you write from scratch, and the program is really so fast and really executable at a hyper speed. So more than the fact is that really more than 40 years old. C is really more than 40 years old since it was ever established from the very first date. But till to this date, to the current date, it is still more efficient and more fast. Standard C programs are portable. The source code of C, or programs that are written in C, they really work in any operating system. It doesn't require you to change the system so that you can really execute C. So any program that you have according to the operating system you have, you only need that code or that file that you've written, then transfer it from one operating system or from one system to another, then execute the code. It works very perfect. So maybe if I were to talk about the advantages and uses of C and applications of C, that's what I would have told you. And for any programmer who is just starting at an initial start, I would really advise you to start with C before you go in for the likes of HTML, PHP, JavaScript, Kotlin, and many different languages, because you can't really finish them at once. But you should really start from C, or start from zero, and C will be your initial programming language first. So I'm going to talk about terminologies. Terminologies in C programming. Terminologies in C programming. I'll call out my first terminology to be variables. Variables. Okay, let me use caps. Variables. So within C we have variables and different variables for real. And if I'm to talk about variables from different aspects, a variable can be an uppercase character, or it can be a lowercase character. So if I'm talking about the variables in C, you can write a variable in an uppercase, caps, or lowercase according to you, because it's not case sensitive. To do with the languages to do with Java, it is case sensitive. So if you write caps, that capital letter or the lower case or the lowercase letter should be really indicated well, and you should be more careful and more sensitive when you're dealing with such languages. But for variables in C, if at all it's a lowercase or an uppercase, it doesn't vary, it will still work. So if at all I'm declaring maybe if I'm to say let me try to write something. Okay, if I'm to say dim or int edge close, and also maybe write int edge or int edge close, or int edge close. So all these statements are true and will give you an output, because it won't vary about the uppercase or the lowercase. But what will really determine is that if you have declared edge, because int is declaring any variable that is going to give you an integer. So I'm declaring this, and edge should be an integer as int, giving you a declaration for that. So edge here, wherever you're going to put edge and you're going to be in need of calling for edge, you should write here in capital letters, because you declared edge in caps. But here under int, if I declare with caps, it's okay if I also declare with this. Hope you get the difference. Then maybe what I can talk about more to do with variables again. The first variable should be a letter or an underscore, not a number. I don't know whether you're getting me. If to write any variable, it depends on what variable you're going to use. The first number should be the first character should be a letter, but not an independent number. An independent number is like, if I write 45, 45, all this underscore 45. So no, sorry, this is not underscore. Shift this, then underscore that, all should be 45, then plus a letter. So mainly with the variable, the first variable should be a letter, all underscore, but not a number. So it can be 45, then plus blah 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 plus blah blah blah, all blah blah blah, then 45, but not 45 as an independent number. Okay, try to create space that you see very well. And maybe to go to the second terminology, I'll go to the compiler. And the compiler, the main function of a compiler is it only converts the programming language of the computer, the binary language into an understandable language, or information that a user can understand. So whatever we write here, we only understand, we as the users, but for the compiler, it helps us compile the code into those binary characters that a computer can understand, so that it gives you an output after interpreting what it compiles to give you an output that is really so understandable to the user. Okay, then with this I will go to the interpreter. Then I'll go to we talked about that. Then I'll go to function. Then I go to function. And if I'm talking about the function is a set of instructions or codes that do something, and mainly a function is denoted by brackets like this. So if you see anything that is any character that is before those two brackets, then that means you're entering into a function. So mainly a function, we have different kinds of functions. We have embedded functions, or another category can be it can be a user-defined function. You can decide to define your own function, or still you can still define or use an independent function that is provided by the by the language itself. Okay, so maybe if I'm to give you an example of a function example, I can opt to give you main that, then that means I'm making main a function. Then I can also give you another example, maybe to say print f. We are going to see these different functions. We can have scanf, different functions, and your own different functions that are user defined. But these ones, they are default functions made within the language, and they do specific commands given to them. Okay, so if I'm to go to another terminology, I would say the other one 4, then we're going to 5, constants. We have constants in C language. What is a constant? A constant can be any symbolic representations of a memory location that is fixed or still constant at the same time. So if I talk about fixed can be the same time as constant. So any symbolic representation that is fixed is a constant in the language. Maybe to clarify more of this, I'll give you an example to say, let me think of one. Constants you really study in mathematics. Maybe let me say I declare I'm using float, variable float, then pi equals to 3.7. Is it 3.714? Am I right? People who do mathematics. Okay, if I told it's right, then we go with that. It's an example, by the way. If I'm to declare a float and pi equals to 3.741, that means whatever I'm going to do with pi, it should give me that constant, or I'm using pi as that very constant. And pi is a float. Why? The float, in a float, float means we are having an integer, but it is bearing decimal points or decimal characters, not whole numbers. To say, like, if I'm to say with int, when I was still declaring with int the integers, maybe 45, yeah, that is not having any decimal point, but float is having a decimal point. That's why I'm calling pi float. Okay. That is an example for that. And still in constants, you can never make age a constant, because maybe I'm declaring int, then I call for age. So wherever I'm going to use age, it's going to be it can never be a constant, because age varies with different period of time. Yeah, age can be any digit for any numeric character for anything. Yeah, for humans, for animals, anything. So if at all I'm declaring your age, this time you're having age of 24 years, next year we'll have an age of 26 years or 30 years or beyond. So age can never be a constant. Yeah, let me hope I'm clear with that. Then if I'm to talk about another one, will be the sixth one. Number 6 will be the data types and operators. Operators. So I'm talking about the data types and operators. You have different data types in C and different operators that you cannot imagine. Okay. So data types, I can talk about float. I already talked about float already, but I'm still emphasizing on it under data types. So I'm having float. What is float? Float this deals with any number containing a decimal. I already talked about that. And float is given as let me just put a space to this, then give percentage f. So float is given as f. The memory storage for float is given as f. Then if I'm to talk about another one, data type will be integer. Integer can be an integer, and this one is given as okay, let me try to differentiate everything to be like float is declared as float and given as this. Then let me try to space this. Then integer is given as int. This is for declaration. Maybe this is the name. Let me try to specify this, sorry. Here, the name of the data type. Then here I put declare, the declaration. Then here I put the storage location, the storage location. Okay, and here, let me say what I can put, the meaning, maybe here I can put the meaning. So here float declared as float, stored as that, and the meaning can be float points. Okay, then if I'm going to integer, declared as int and stored as percentage d. In here the meaning, these are numbers, integers and numbers or digits. Then the next I'll talk about the character. So about the character, the character that is given as char, then this one is stored as percentage %c, and what meaning can we give it? They are letters. Characters are really letters. And what else? I might not finish them all, but I'm giving you a few. Then we still have character or string. Character, stroke, maybe string. The declaration for it is %c, %c. Then no, sorry, the declaration is still char or cow, whatever you call it. Then %c, and the meaning is no, this is stored as %s. Letters. Okay, so the other data types, I'm going to provide them, and they'll be right here in likes of void, double. I'm going to provide this PDF format so that you get to read about the data types. You have them, the different ones, because you cannot finish all of them at once. And besides this, after knowing the basics about C language, then you need to have a software on an application you're going to run, so that you use it to code. Maybe you're going to use Windows or an iOS operating system, or an Android or an iPhone, anywhere, because these days devices have been granted with different applications that you can use to write code. So coding has been really made so much easier than before. So people who are really interested in programming, I really advise you to just go to Play Store, get applications that really give you access to write code. And I'll also provide an application that's going to help you write C on using a phone, if at all you're not having a PC. Yeah. Okay. Most people or most programmers resort to using C. Resort to code C using Boland. Yeah. And it's what we are going to mainly use here while we are writing code under C language. So I'm going to provide this software. I have both for 64-bit and 32-bit, so you will choose your operating system that you want. You choose any that your operating system can carry. First, check the architecture of your machine. Go to your computer, then properties, then check the architecture 64-bit, then proceed to install the 64-bit. If you have 32-bit, it's of rare case or less chances of 64-bit to work there, but you have 64-bit can still work very well, and 32-bit can work very well. Maybe I'm to creating the blank. So in the next tutorial we are going to start code, and we are going to start to learn how to implement what we know about C step by step. Stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to like and leave your comment if you like this video. Thanks for watching.